Okay, now that we have our technical issues taken care of, it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday night. It is 8 p.m. here on the east side of the United States, here in the diaspora. This is the House of Seven Beggars, therefore it must be the Torah study with Rabbi A and Reb Reuven. And we had Reb Reuven on with us just a little while ago before we had to reboot the computer because it was behaving badly. And now I can't seem to get a hold. Let's see if we can bring him up. See if we can get him to answer. Okay, yeah, you got the right person there. So let's give him a call and see what happens. Boy, that's loud. So while we're doing that, let's see what we got in the chat room. We have Colleen, we have Shlomo, we have Mary, we have Miles, we have Roberta, we have Kelsey Lynn, and we have Guy. And if I've missed anybody, I apologize. Let me pull this up and see if I did. Looks like I got everybody for now. So. Okay, doesn't look like he is available right at the moment. As I was just talking to him about 10 minutes ago. So, okay, well, we'll just wait for him to call in on us. And so anyway, and there he is. And there he is. Are you there?
Okay.
There you are.
Yeah.
Okay. There's your picture. Okay. So let's get you on here.
Oh dear.
Let's put you. Yeah, it's crazy that I had to shut down everything and restart everything. So let's see.
Right.
This is the one I want. I'm getting better at remembering these things.
That's good.
You would think so, wouldn't you? And of course, it
Well, you would hope so.
had to pop up on the other screen, of course. So, okay, let's get that back over here. Now, let's see. I want this one. And I want to drag down to here. And we got you on the screen now. So we'll drag you on over here. There you go. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, let's see. Let me give you a little more volume here.
I got mine turned up all the way.
There you go. Okay, that's good. Okay, we are good to go. So, the last time we were together,
Yes.
we were on, still in the Sefer Breshit.
Yeah.
Parsha Vayitze, and we are on chapter 28, and we left off at verse 14. So that is where we're going to pick up tonight. Let me get my Haggadah open. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay. So let's see. Verse 14. Okay, so Yaakov has just, well, not just, but he is traveling to to Lavan, to his mother's brother, and
Yeah.
he's just laid down. He's had the dream and everything, and now we'll just go ahead and back up to 13 just to get everybody a chance to get their bearings here. So, and behold, Hashem was standing over him, and he said, I am Hashem, God of Abraham, your father, and God of Yitzhak. The ground upon which you are lying, to you I will give it to you and your descendants. Okay, so that's where we left off, and that's where we're going to pick up. Your offspring shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall burst forth westward, eastward, northward, and southward, and all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by your offspring. So, a fairly long verse.
True.
And Rashi has one comment.
Uh-huh.
So, Rashi says that you shall burst forth. This means you shall be strong. Like Yifrot, so it would burst forth. Okay, so the further commentary really doesn't say much at all in the further commentary either. That it just references Exodus, Shemot 1:12. There too, the word means spreading out in strength. Okay, I would have thought he would have had more to say about that, but be that as it may, and we've had some short verses where Rashi has had a tremendous amount to say, and here we actually have a longer verse and basically has very little to say on it. But then again, I wasn't there, so
Yes, I just to mention if we were.
what do you mean? That's all you got to say?
He said you got to be. He and I have been on a field of honor.
So, verse 15. Behold, I am with you, and I will guard you wherever you go, and I will return you to this soil. For I will not forsake you until you will have done until I will have done what I have spoken to you. Rashi says, I am with you. God said this because Yaakov was afraid of Esau and Lavan. The further commentary on this one says, Bereshit Rabbah 68:1. I know you want to know what this is. Okay. Tachurma Yeshan Vaytze 3 and Vayishlach 10. This explains why Yaakov was given this assurance, but Abraham and Yitzhak were not. They did not have enemies as vicious as Yaakov's. Okay, it makes sense. Okay. So Rashi goes on, literally, until that I have done. The word im here functions in the sense of that. Well, thank you, Rashi. Okay, I have spoken for you, for your needs and about you. That which I promised to Abraham regarding his offspring, to you I have promised it, and not Esau. For I did not say Abraham, for Yitzhak will be considered your offspring, but I think I know where he's going. Rather, for in Yitzhak will offspring be considered yours, but not of Yitzhak. But not all of Yitzhak. Okay, so let's go back here. The commentary on this one for more as far as me. It more commonly means if, but if implies something conditional or uncertain. Here, however, God was assuring Yaakov unconditionally that he would not forsake him until he carried out that which he had said about him. Okay. So.
But again, it only makes sense to word it like that because you're forgetting Esau.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Esau came just out of Isaac, just like Yaakov did, and you know, it's like you got the good and the bad. You can't,
Yeah,
you can't forsake. You can try to ignore one, but you really can't.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. The further commentary continues on that from Nidarim 31a, this verse implies that some, but not all, of Yitzhak's offsprings are considered descendants of Abraham. God here tells Yaakov that he is considered a descendant of Abraham, but Esau is not. Okay, so similarly, all the instances of the word lo, lecha, li, and lechem, which are next to the forms of the verb dalet bet resh, functioned in the sense of regarding. This example proves that this is so. For see now, he had not spoken with Yaakov previously. Okay, so let's back up here. This further commentary, the lamed prefix of these words does not mean to. They do not indicate who is being addressed. Rashi makes a similar point in his comment on 2:24:7 above, and Exodus 4:16 and Numbers 7:5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, okay. I did not know. For had I known, I would not have slept in a holy place. I'm going on too far. I've gone on to the next verse. Okay. So, the next verse, 16, Yaakov awoke from his sleep and said, surely Hashem is in this place, and I did not know. And he became frightened.
And
Yeah.
you know what the midrash says when he woke up.
Well, I know what some of the Midrashim says, but what do you prefer? What are you
Well,
referring
the
to?
one I am referring to, that he woke up when given the vision of the destruction of the first temple,
Ah, okay.
and that the shock of it woke him up, because according to this one midrash, he was given prophecy of everything that was going to happen that night until the
Well,
until the destruction of the first temple.
that's
That's
interesting
the woke
because they actually say, and I don't know if they're going to actually talk about it in here, but they say that while he slept, the entire land of Israel folded underneath him, right?
Okay, I forgot
Okay.
about that.
Okay, well, that's a midrash. So, going along with what you're
Oh,
saying, not only did the land fold under him, all of Jewish history also folded under him.
okay.
So that kind of goes along to prove what you were pointing out, that he saw the destruction of the first temple and awoke. Now this is similar to what we see in a lot of the are evoked, that when they come towards the end of their life, they start to prophesy. And it's my position that at that point, God shows them all of the history of the Jewish people,
Okay.
because we'll find out later on that Yaakov later on does the same thing. He starts to prophesy at the end, and then God actually uh, closes his mouth, because he's starting to prophesy about, he gives the blessings to his sons, and
Right.
then he starts to prophesy about the end times, and that's when the angel comes and silences him.
Uh-huh. And the same thing happened to Rachel too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that if you look into the text, sometimes they're kind of obscure or they're just a quick mention, but it seems like all the avot and imot, our forefathers and foremothers, not just um, uh, the three patriarchs and the four matriarchs, but we also see this happen with Moshe Rabbeinu
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
he's shown all of Jewish history just before he passes away outside of the land.
Hmm.
So, and I think I seem to remember there's a reference about Aharon doing the same thing, starting to prophesy before his death.
Okay, that may be. I don't know.
Yeah. So okay, so let's go on here. So we were on 16, and I did not know. For had I known, I would not have slept in a holy place such as this. The further commentary, Midrash Agidah, Breshit Rabasi, Yerushalayimi, Megillah 3:3. Oh, we're going to get into the Talmud Yerushalayimi. This explains,
Ooh,
yeah, this explains why Yaakov mentioned the seemingly insignificant point that he was not aware of the sanctity of the spot. Okay, so we go on to 17, and there was something I was going to make a point about something or ask you about something, but anyway, um,
go
17.
ahead.
I can't remember what it is now. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's getting more and more like that. It's like it's like walking into the kitchen. As soon as you walk into the kitchen, you go, "What was I coming in here for?" Yeah.
That happened to me at Kroger once.
Oh man, am I coming or am I going? Right?
It was terrible because I stood there for half an hour trying to remember what I came there for.
Yeah.
As soon as I got home, boom, it hit me.
Yeah. Oh, I've done that plenty of times. Go into a store, forget what I went in there for, and I just wander around. Figure that at some point in time it'll just kind of dawn on me. Pick up a few
Right.
snacks and stuff like that while I'm going around, so that I look like I know what I'm going there for. So somebody doesn't
Yeah,
come along and go, "Are you okay, sir?"
that happened to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I told him, I said, I wish you could tell me what I came in here for.
yeah.
I said, I know I was going to buy some kind of grocery, but I don't know what.
Okay, so verse 17, and he became frightened and he said, "How awesome is this place? This is none other than the abode of God, and this is the gate of the heavens." Okay. Rashi goes on
And
to
then,
say,
well,
yes,
then something else. Remember a couple of weeks ago I asked you about the use of Shaddai?
uh huh,
Well, see, now he's using the Elohim, you know, terminology.
yes, he is, yes. It's
And I
Ki'im
just had to
Beit
point that.
Elohim. Yeah,
I just wanted to point that out.
yeah, okay. So this, Rashi goes on to say, this is none other than the abode of God. The Amorah, Rabbi Elazar, said in the name of Rabbi Yosef ben Zimra, this ladder was standing with its feet in Be'er Sheva, and the middle of its incline, i.e., the middle of the length when it was inclined, reached opposite, i.e., over the Beit Hamikdash. Uh, from Beersheba stands in the southern part of the territory of the tribe of Yehudah, and Jerusalem is in its northern part, on the boundary between Yehudah and Benjamin. And Beit El was in the northern part of Benjamin's territory, on the border between Benjamin and the sons of Yosef, i.e., the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. It is found that a ladder whose feet are in Be'er Sheva and whose upper end is in Beit El, the middle of its incline reaches opposite, i.e., over Jerusalem. And regarding that which our rabbis have said, that the Holy One, blessed is He, the righteous man has come to my inn. Should he depart without spending the night? And they also said Yaakov called Jerusalem Beit El. But this is Luz. Yaakov called Jerusalem Beit El, but this is Luz and not Jerusalem. From where did they learn to say this? I say, Rashi says, in order to solve this problem, that Mount Moriah was uprooted from its place and came here for Yaakov's sake. This is the contracting of the earth, which is mentioned in Shechitas Chulin, that the Beit HaMikdash came toward Yaakov as far as Beit El. And this is what is referred to by he encountered the place. And if you will say, when Yaakov passed by the Beit HaMikdash on his way to Haran, why did God not halt him there? The answer is he did not set his heart to pray at the place where his ancestors had prayed. Should they halt him from the heavens? He had gone as far as Haran before he had this dream. As we have seen in chapter Gid Hanashem, and our verse indicates this as it says, and he went to Haran. Once he arrived in Haran, he said, is it possible that I pass by a place where my ancestors prayed, and I did not pray there? He set his mind to return and went back as far as Beit El, and the earth contracted for him. How awesome! Targum Onkelos renders this, how awesome is this place? The word Dekilu is a noun. It is like understanding and like in and close to wear. And this is the gate of the heavens, a place of prayer. For their prayers to ascend heavenward, its midrashic interpretation is that the Beit HaMikdash on high is aligned opposite the Beit HaMikdash below. Okay. Lots and lots of commentary on this one. If you hadn't noticed. Okay, so let's go. The further...
I believe it.
Okay, so the further commentary says, when Rashi says that the middle of the incline of the ladder was over Jerusalem, he does not mean the exact midpoint of its length. For Jerusalem is on the border between the portions of Yehudah and Benjamin. The exact midpoint of the ladder would be over it only if Beit El and Beersheba were equidistant from Jerusalem. But they are not. Jerusalem is closer to Beit El than it is to Beersheba. Rather, by the middle of the incline, Rashi means the middle portion of the inclined ladder as opposed to either of its ends. Makes a little more sense. God called the place my inn. Now, this has to do with the commentary. Should he depart without spending the night? God called this place, or the place, my inn, indicating that it is Yerushalayim. Okay. So Rashi has cited two places where the sages indicate the place where Yaakov had his dream was Yerushalayim. He asked, for where did the sages know this? Doesn't verse 19 state explicitly that the origin of the name of the place was Luz? And Luz is not identical to Yerushalayim. Okay, leave it as a question. Okay. So this is 5. What is this related to? This is related to, okay, which means Shechita Chulin. And from Chulin, 91b, Shechitas Chulin, the slaughter of that which is not sacred, is the name used by the Rishonim for tractate Chulin.
All the time for the rest of my life.
Let's see. Note number 8. Let's see where that's related to. 7, 8. Oh, and he went to Haran. Okay. This is stated before the events took place in Bethel, and thus indicates that he had gone as far as Haran before returning to Bethel. Rashi 2 verse 10 said that he went to Haran, means that he embarked towards Haran. There he explains the simple meaning of the verse. Here he explains how the Gemara in Chulin viewed it. Okay. Some editions, Rashi included the point long, at this point, a long paragraph that does not appear in any of the early editions. Moreover, the point he made in the piece contradicted what Rashi has said above. They seem to be based on Rambam's opinion or opposing interpretation of the Midrash. In any case, they are certainly not Rashi's words. Okay, which we don't have in here. So,
Well, I just thought of something.
you just thought of something? Let me mark that down.
Yes, indeed. It's very rare.
So, what did you?
Okay, I'm thinking that the Lamed prefix meaning to, to arrive at, and the Tzaddik for Zion. So I'm thinking maybe that's where they got that of a lose.
Luz, yeah. Lamed Tzaddik. Yeah, okay. Huh. Interesting. That's interesting. I like it.
I don't, because I'm agreeing with Rashi.
Yeah, how about that? It was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just like it was bound to happen that an Orthodox prayer book would have quotes by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov in it.
I suppose it did have to happen.
It had to happen. Okay, so verse 19, and he called the name of the place Beit El. However, Luz was the city's name originally. Rashi goes on to say, he says nothing about this. So we're going to go on to 20 because he's already addressed it in the previous statement. When Yaakov took a vow, saying, "If God will be with me, and He will guard me on this way that I am going, and He will give me bread to eat and clothes to wear." Rashi says, "If God will be with me, if He will keep for me these promises that He promised me to be with me, and He said to me, Behold, I am with you, and He will guard me, as He said to me, and I will guard you wherever you go. And He will give me bread to eat. And He said, I will not forsake you. And one who seeks bread is called forsaken, as it says, and I have not seen a righteous one forsaken." He was
Do
completely
you know?
forsook.
Yeah, Do you know where we say that
Where?
in our grace after meals?
Oh, yeah,
After
that's
every
right.
meal.
That's right. Yeah.
I have not seen a righteous man go hungry.
Yep. And his offspring seeking bread.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling.
So Targum Yoshanan Yerushalayim Berachot 4:5, according to the first interpretation, gate of the heavens is a figure of speech. According to the Midrashic interpretation, the site of the earthly Beit Hamikdash where Yaakov slept is in some sense an actual gateway to the heavenly Beit Hamikdash. Okay, I can go with that.
Wait a minute. Yerushalmi, uses Rashi.
No, actually, this is the further commentary, which means that somebody is using the Yerushalayim to comment on Rashi's comment.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Because normally you would not think that. Now Maimonides, yeah, but I thought Maimonides was in Egypt, but Rashi was
right.
in France.
That's right. That's right. Rashi is in France, and he's primarily using the Talmud Bavli, right?
That's, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Is that that's why. So I'm just saying, very rare that the two mix.
that's true. But we do know that there was quite a bit of during the time that they were working on them, that there was quite a bit of communication going on between the two schools, the one in Babylon and the one in well, it wasn't in Jerusalem, but it was what was the name of the city? Safed, right?
Right.
Okay, so there was constant communication going on there, and we know that from the stories of Rabbi Bar Chana, who's constantly.
Okay.
We know that he was traveling between the two schools, bringing information back and forth between the two schools. So there was quite a bit of exchange of information during the development of both. Not actually,
Which
not
means
actually the Talmud, but the Gemara and the Midrash, because the Talmud didn't come together until later.
which means lose lips, sink ships.
I still like that though. I like that. Lamed Zadi. Yeah. To the righteous. To the righteous one. Yeah. I like that. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I might just have to write that down. Who knows?
Oh, the Michigan Talmud strikes again.
There you go. It was bound to happen. Okay.
Yep.
So we are on to verse 21. And I will return in peace to my father's house, and Hashem will be a God to me. Rashi says, and I will return, as he said to me, and I will return you to this soil, in peace, whole from sin, i.e., free of defect caused by sin, that I should not learn from the ways of Laban. Okay? The further commentary says, it does not mean that he had not been harmed by his enemies, for that has already been dealt with, and will guard me on this way that I am going, and in if God will be with me. Okay, so Rashi goes on to say, and Hashem will be a God to me, that his name will rest upon me from beginning to end. That no defect should be found in my offspring. As it says, I have spoken for you, and this promise that his offspring should have no defect. He promised to Abraham, as it says, to be a God to you and to your offspring after you, pedigreed offspring, that no defect should be found in them. So in the further commentary, yeah?
I say that, well, we know it's a falsehood because look at Esav and look at Reuven, look at Shimon. You know, they had their faults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Well, the further commentary says, and Hashem will be a God for me, is not what Yaakov undertook through this vow. Yaakov's belief in God was unconditional. It is one of the conditions he set for his vow, by which he undertook that the pillar became a house of God, and that he gave tithes. Okay, and he prayed that none of the offspring would be like Ishmael and Esau, unfit for the sanctity of God's name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're on to verse 22. Then this stone which I set up as a pillar shall become a house of God, and whatever you will give me, I shall surely tithe to you. Rashi says on this, then this stone. So should you explain this this vav of Reuven, if he will do the same things I have mentioned for me, I too will do this. Okay, that was a little bit broken up. Then this stone which I set up as a pillar shall become a house of God. This is to be understood as Targum Onkelos renders it, I will worship upon it before God. And he did so. Upon his return from Padan Aram, when God said to him, arise and go to Beit El, what is said there? And Yaakov set up a pillar, etc., and he poured a libation upon it. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're at our halfway point. So we're going to take a pause here. So if you would kindly mute yourself for a moment. And we will...
Okay.
Okay, and I will... Got to do that first. There we go. And then I got to go here. There we go. I'm getting this down pretty good. Okay, so we are going to take our break now, 6-minute break. And when we return, we'll pick up with chapter 29, and we'll see what's going on there. So everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 5 minutes. The show starts in 4 minutes. The show starts in 3 minutes. The show starts in 2 minutes. The show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
And we are back. So let's get Reb Reuven back on here with us. Let's see. Click here. Click here. Drag this. And there he is.
Well, I think I'm on.
You're on.
Okay.
Okay. So, we left off. We're at the beginning of chapter 29 now. And so Yaakov lifted his feet and went toward the land of the Easterners. Okay. So Rashi says, and Yaakov lifted his feet. Once he was imparted good tidings, that he was assured of guarding, i.e., being guarded, his heart lifted his feet, and it became easy to walk. Thus it is explained in Bereshit Rabbah. Okay, so Bereshit Rabbah 78. Okay. Okay. So we're on to verse 2. Somebody having a hard time closing whatever that is? So verse 2, he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and see there 3 flocks of sheep lying beside it. For from that well they would water the flocks, and the stone on the mouth of the well was large. Okay, and there's a reason why he actually says it's large. Okay, so Rashi says they would water the flocks. The shepherds would water the flocks. The verse speaks in abbreviated language. Yeah, really. The further commentary says regarding the flocks, Yishku is in the future form. It is used here for habitual action. Rashi makes a similar point in his comments in 1819 and so on and so forth. Furthermore, Rashi points out that despite the absence of et, which generally precedes a direct object, Yishku is a transitive verb in the Hifil with Adrim as its object. The verse does not mean the herds would drink. That would have been expressed as Yishtu. They would drink. It in the simple call, nor does the verse intend to convey the literal meaning of the phrase, the herds would give to drink. Okay. It uses the pronoun they without specifying its antecedent. Ooh, and I got that one on the first try. How about that?
Hey, cool.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, okay, I'm gonna wait till the next verse, and I'm gonna jump in on this. Okay, so
Did you tell me the well was festooned with water?
the well was indeed festooned with water, and sheep,
Okay.
and sheep.
Okay.
So it was the ground around the well was festooned with sheep. Okay,
That's something.
yeah. So you get a twofer on that one.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Okay, verse 3, and all the flocks would be gathered there, and they would roll the stone from upon the mouth of the well, and they would water the sheep. Then they would return the stone onto the mouth of the well to its place. Okay, Rashi goes on to say here that all the flocks would be gathered. They were regularly gathered because the stone was large. This means that they would roll, and it is rendered by Targamonculus as umgan dariv in the present tense. Any ongoing present can change to an expression in the future form or in the past form, because anything which happens continually has already been and is destined to be. Okay. Here too, see no one. The future past with a vav, conversive, is used for the present and indicates habitual action. Regarding, where's 4? Oh yeah, and because the stone was large, were this espu understood as a past, the verse would be speaking of a particular occasion when the flocks were gathered. If this were so, and all the flocks were gathered, would not be connected to, and the stone on the mouth of the well was large. For the size of the stone is an ongoing condition. It would not lead to an isolated event. Now that V'ne'esfu is understood as referring to an ongoing activity, it is seen in connection with an ongoing condition of the size of the stone. Okay. I'm surprised there's no commentary on here about this.
Yeah, because every time a righteous man would enter the area, it would seem like it would keep going. But with that Bruno, by the righteous people, well, actually there was Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
But when she left, Laban's, properties we all know turned to dust, and so that's what I'm kind of like, I don't know about that.
I just want to make sure I'm not going to step on something here.
Not stone.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have to hold up for a few verses here because I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Uh-huh.
So there's no commentary on 4 or 5, so we'll go from 4 to 5 to 6. Verse 4, Yaakov said to them, "My brothers, where are you from?" And they said, "We are from Haran." He said to them, "Do you know Lavan, the son of Nahor?" And they said, "We know." Then he said to them, "Is it well with him?" Because he was standing by a well. Well. Beat you to it. And they
Right.
okay, verse 6, and then they said to him, or he said to them, "Is it well with him?" They said, "It is well." And see, his daughter Rachel is coming with the flock. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So Rashi comments, "is coming with the flock." The accent is on the Aleph, the last syllable, and it is rendered by Targum Onkelos as Atiyah, is coming in the present tense. But in Rachel had come, the accent is above, i.e., in the penultimate syllable, ba'a, on the, okay.
Unkelos, really, I could just see him dropping acid at a party.
Say what?
I could see him dropping acid at a party.
Who?
Onkelos.
Uncleus? Okay.
I mean, he comes up with more science fiction, things or sort of supernatural events. I mean, Rashi's much more plain, you know, and,
That brings up,
and
that brings up an interesting question. Who was Onkelos?
I'm telling you, it was Timothy Leary.
You know, there they say that Onkelos was the nephew of Nero.
Well, I could believe that because Akiva would have been his, nephew or possibly grandson.
Yeah, and he was Onkelos was actually a convert, and we don't know if he was actually a convert, but that's what we've come to
Well,
understand is that he was a convert, and he was the nephew of Nero.
well, Nero became one later in life, and it only ties in.
Yeah, I just find it really interesting because Rashi does quote him a lot, and
Well, sure, Rashi was like, "Hey, man, I don't do that stuff."
but okay, so Onkelos, well, we're already past Onkelos. They would no longer. Let's see. Oh, okay, here. The accent and so on and so forth is rendered by talking about Onkelos. She came in the past tense. The first means she is doing in the present. The second means she has done in the past. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay, verse 7. And he said, I'm going to catch up with the chat room here. Okay. Verse 7. He said, look, the day is still long. It is not yet time to bring the livestock in. Water the flock and go on grazing. Okay, so Rashi says the day is still long. Since he saw the flocks lying down, he was under the impression that they wanted to bring the livestock homeward, and they would no longer graze that day. He said to them, look, the day is still long, as if to say, if you are hired workers, you have not completed the day's labor. And if the animals are yours, nonetheless, it is not yet time to bring the livestock in, and so on. Okay, and who are you to be telling us what to do, right?
Not only that, but you got to consider that Laban, at the time, was well known, and he treated his workers badly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, hey, man, we came here to get away from Laban. We don't need no snitch.
Yeah, well, that's a good point because we know that Laban actually, we know that he treated Yaakov badly. And if he treated his own relative, his own son-in-law badly, you can imagine how he treated his hired workers.
I'd hate to think it.
Yeah. So, verse 8, but they said, we are unable to until the flocks have been gathered, and they will roll the stone from upon the mouth of the well, and we will water the flock. Rashi goes on to say here, actually I missed a comment here. The day is still long. This is the further commentary. Bereshit Rabbah 70:11. And the day is still long. It is not yet time to bring in the livestock. It appears redundant. Rashi explains what happens now if something isn't redundant. Is it redundant?
Yes, whatever
Okay.
that means.
Rashi explained. I'm sorry, I was watching too much Gumball before I came in here. Anyway,
That's cool.
Rashi explains that it contains two distinct arguments, one related to hire workers and one to owners of livestock. So verse 8, we were unable we are unable to water the flocks because the stone is too large. The further commentary says the shepherds did not respond to Yaakov's instructions to go on grazing, for they assumed that it was based on his ignorance of the circumstances. He thought that they were gathering in order to drive the livestock back to the town, in which case they would be ending their day's work too early. In fact, they were gathering to roll the stone off the mouth of the well in order to be able to continue their work. Okay? And they rolled. They will roll. This is rendered by Targum Onkelos as because because it's the future tense.
I know what Uncle's supposed to roll.
Began Derun. Okay. Because it is a future tense.
I know what he wants to roll.
Yeah. You think he was rolling something?
I won to bet on this one.
Yeah. Okay, so we're getting. Okay, so there's no commentary on 9, so we'll go from 9 to 10. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel had come with her father's flock, for she was a shepherdess. Okay. Rashi says that Yaakov came forward and... Oh, wait a minute. There's no... I've got to go to 10. And it was when Yaakov saw Rachel, daughter of Lavan, his mother's brother, and the flock of Lavan, his mother's brother. Yaakov came forward and rolled the stone from the mouth of the well and watered the sheep of Lavan, his mother's brother. Okay, so Yaakov came forward and rolled, like a person who removes a plug from the mouth of a flask. This is stated to let you know that his strength was great. Okay, so we have all these shepherds there waiting for enough people to come along to be able to roll the stone off of the well, because they said they couldn't roll it off because they were waiting for more people to come. And Yaakov comes and basically, and according to here, it says he removed it like a plug, which meant he didn't roll it off. He picked it up and set it off to the side.
Not bad for a 63-year-old man.
Not bad at all. I mean, people got a lot of ideas about, the patriarchs, being these pious little, bent over guys, and they don't realize that these guys were either incredibly brave or incredibly strong, or in some cases both. I mean, look at Abraham. 90 years old, 90 years old, and he's chasing 5 kings all the way up to Damascus.
Yep.
And then he slaughters them with 300 people. 5 armies against 300 of his men, and he slaughters them. This was no shrinking violet,
Oh heck no, this is Don Quixote.
Yeah, so we got here we have Yaakov, who, it takes a number of people to be able to roll this stone off of the well, and Yaakov comes up and lifts it up and set it off to the side. Man must have looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger on steroids. Seriously. Not somebody you would want to mess with, right?
Well, you look at the offspring. Dan, who's Samson's grandfather. He's talking about big, hefty guys.
Well, yeah, Dan was put at the rear guard of the tribes as they were wandering in the wilderness as a rear guard. To keep from being attacked from the rear.
Yes, there were a lot of strong guys back then.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, that this idea that people have about Jews being, the bent over, don't look up, weakling, not athletic or anything like that, is completely false because our people were actually a great warrior people.
Yes, indeed.
And it actually says in the Agudah that if it the Torah was given to the children of Israel be, to mitigate their warlike behavior. And it said it's because if they hadn't been given the Torah, no army in the world could stand against them, and they would have imposed their will on the whole world.
Well, not only that, but there's a midrash about the whole reason for kashrus is that you don't eat. It's like you take on the characteristics of what you eat. So that's why they don't want you eating vicious beasts anymore, and they want you eating tame, domesticated animals.
Uh-huh.
But that's just one explanation for it.
Okay. So, so we're on to verse 11. And then Yaakov kissed Rachel. Oh, he's rather forward, isn't he? And he raised his voice and wept. Okay. And he wept, Rashi says, because he foresaw through the Holy Spirit, i.e., through the divine inspiration, that she would not enter with him to the burial, i.e., she would not be buried with him.
Right.
So the further commentary says that Rashi explains here why Yaakov wept on this joyous occasion, for we do not find the vet used in expression of tears of joy in Scripture. See also Rashi, so on and so forth. Alternatively, back to Rashi, he cried because he came with empty hands. He said, Eliezer, my parental grandfather's slave, had in his hands nose rings and bracelets and delicacies when he went to find a wife for Yitzhak.
Yeah, dowry.
Yeah, but I have nothing in my hand. Yaakov was empty-handed because Eliphaz, son of Esau, pursued him at the command of his father to kill him. Eliphaz overtook Yaakov, and since Eliphaz grew up in the close embrace of Yitzhak, i.e., under his influence, he withheld his hands from murdering his uncle. Eliphaz said to Yaakov, "What should I do about father's command?" Yaakov said to him, "Take that which is in my hand," and the poor man is considered like take that which is in my dead hand. Oh, and the poor man is considered like a dead person. So basically, he takes his possessions away. He's considered like a dead person, so he's not actually lying to his father. Eliphaz. You buying that one? Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought for sure you would. Okay, so the further commentary on this says from Bereshit Rabbatai, thus by impoverishing Yaakov, Eliphaz would be fulfilling Esau's command to kill him. The Talmud, Nidrim, folio 64b, cites a Baraita. There are 4 who are considered like a dead person. A poor person. B, one affiliated with, afflicted with a tzara. And C, a blind person. And D, one who is childless. That Baraita then adduces supporting scriptural verses, and then it goes into say, see Rashi and so on and so forth. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you why I had no comment on that, because that can very easily lead to some Lazarus, connections. Yeah, if you're gonna mention anything about the new, so I don't want to make any connection to that.
Yeah, we won't cross the street there. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I can see what you're saying though. Okay, so verse 12, Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rivka's son, and she ran and she told her father. Okay, now this is as opposed to Rivka, who went and ran to her mother
Right? Because here's an
because
interesting thing
well,
right
it's
here.
because
Is that,
Rachel's mother was dead.
right? But we also have the trouble of Leah because, okay, now they know what they knew they were twins.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
You're right, right.
I'm sure they got word about the twins. But this is probably the first time anybody's seen Yaakov, and the fact that Leah, we'll see there, had a vision about Esau,
Right.
and so there's definitely connections here about that.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, hence why she had weak eyes, but we'll get to that, right?
Right, right.
Okay. So, verse 12, Yaakov told Rachel that he was a. I just read that, didn't I? And she ran and told her father. Okay, so the Rashi says that he was her father's brother. This means a relative of her father. Like in we are men who are brothers. Its midrashic interpretation is if he comes for deceit, I too am his brother in deceit. But if he is a decent person, I am also the son of Rivka, his decent sister. She told her father because her mother had died. She had no one to tell but him.
True.
Let's go to the further commentary. The further commentary says, this is from Bereshit Rabbah 7013, Bava Batra, folio 123a. The Midrashic interpretation explains an apparent redundancy. Here we go again. If it wasn't redundant, it would be dundant, right?
It works for me.
Yeah. Okay. Redundancy of that he was her father's brother and that he was Rivka's son. Since he was Riv, yeah, since he was Rivka's son. Now I lost my place. Since he was Rivka's son, he was obviously related to her father, but according to the interpretation that he was her father's brother, does not refer to a family relationship. See also Rashi and so on and so forth. Bereshit Rabbah 7013. This explains why Rachel told her father, although daughters normally confide in their mothers, and so on and so forth, that she had already died. Okay, so verse 13.
It's funny you mention that because I'm going back quite a few chapters, but when we talk about what happened with Dina.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
That's coming up later. Never mind.
Yeah, that's coming up. That's a ways away yet. Okay. What, do you want to finish your thought, or?
Well, I'll just say that when we get to the lady named Timnah, we get
Okay.
to all kinds of great commentary.
Okay. Okay, so verse 13, and it was when Laban heard that the news of Yaakov, his sister's son, he ran toward him, and he embraced him, and he kissed him, and he brought him into the house. He recounted to Laban all these events. Rashi goes on to say, and he ran toward him. He was under the impression that Yaakov was laden with money, for the slave of the house had come there with 10 laden camels. Gamels.
And what the great Midrash says about this is that first he tried to kiss him, thinking there was jewelry in his mouth, and then when there wasn't any, he tried to bite Jacob on the neck.
Yeah. We're going to get into this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. with 10 laden gemalim. Okay, so, and he embraced him. When he saw that Yaakov had nothing with him, Laban said, perhaps he brought gold coins, and they are in his bosom, hidden within the folds of his clothes. And he kissed him. He said, perhaps he brought pearls, and they are in his mouth. He recounted to Laban that he came only under duress because of his brother, and that he took his and that they took his money from him. Okay, the further commentary on this says, Bereshit Rabbah, had Laban hugged and kissed Yaakov as an expression of love for a relative, the verse would have expressed it by, oh yeah, okay, it does not. It does below. That was only after he hugged him and decided to kiss him. This is because he would not have kissed him in the hope of finding pearls. He had found gold coins when he hugged him, or had he found gold coins when he hugged him. Alternatively, the verse, okay, so on and so forth. We're going to get another grammar lesson here. So we're on to 14. Then Laban said to him, nevertheless, you are my bone and my flesh. And they stayed with him a month of days.
But we left out what happened when he bit him.
It doesn't say anything about biting him, neither in this or in the further commentary.
There's a midrash about it.
Okay, and it is?
The midrash says that Yaakov's neck turned to stone, and Laban actually broke teeth.
Ah.
Because he was so mad, he bit him on the neck.
Ah.
He tried to bite him on the neck,
yeah.
but then Hashem turned Yaakov's neck to steel.
Okay.
So all Laban got for it was some missing teeth.
Yeah. Okay, then, okay, so Rashi... Pardon?
Then he goes on to say nonetheless.
Yeah. So, yeah, nevertheless, okay. So, Rashi says, nevertheless, you are my bone and my flesh. Now I have no reason to bring you into the house, since you have nothing in your hand. Nevertheless, because of family relationship, I will care for you a month of days. And so he did. But even that was not without charge, for Yaakov would graze his flocks. Okay. So, yeah, okay. Well, that's okay. And he did so. The further commentary says, the verse juxtaposes, then Laban said to him, nevertheless, you are my bone and my flesh, and he stayed with him a month's time. So as if some relationship between the two parts of the verse exists, though none is apparent. Rashi explains that implicit in then Laban said to him as an invitation to Yaakov to spend a month with him. Rashi goes on to say, and so he did, to indicate that the end of the verse, and he stayed with him a month's time, implies that Laban had invited him, for otherwise Yaakov would not have stayed. Okay. Okay, so that, I think that's brings us to about where we are going to stop for this evening. Get my bookmark in here so I don't lose my place. Okay. So, so we're at our the end of our time tonight. So we will be here again next week, and don't forget that on Friday night, Kabbalat and Mariv Shabbat service at 8 p.m. Eastern, and on Shabbat morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, is Shachrit and Musaf. Don't forget also that on Monday is Zeta's Story Corner at 8 p.m. So I'm going to turn off your camera, but stick around after we final off. If you could mute yourself for the moment, and then I'll get back with you as soon as we're off the air.
Okay, so I just mute myself?
Just mute yourself and hang tight. And okay. Got it figured out? Good. Okay. So let me go ahead and do this. And then we'll do this. And then we will say, until the next time, we will say, Laila Tov.
Thank you.